Hi everybody! Yep, still in the goofy brace. I want to thank everyone for the well wishes. I mean, it was a really stupid thing that happened. Uh, okay, yeah, it's November 17th. It's Friday. Remember, I am a clairvoyant, clairaudient, so everything is for entertainment purposes only. The info's down in the box if you want a reading or send me a cream soda or any of that nonsense. What happened Tuesday is that I basically went to pick up my iron because, you know, iron stuff close. And I felt a pop, like right in this area of my thumb. And it was just like blinding pain. And I'm like, oh, this is crazy. And I was getting ready to go and it just really started hurting pretty nasty. And I was going to the store with my neighbor. And I noticed when I was in the grocery store, it started hurting more and more. And my neighbor is a retired nurse and she's looking at it. She goes, maybe you popped something or accidentally did this. And I said, well, I've got the meds for when I have breakthrough pain dealing with the RSD. She goes, well, take one, and if it doesn't kick in after an hour, you might want to go to the ER. So I did. After I took the breakthrough meds, and an hour and a half goes by, and the pain is not slowing down, I'm like, yikes. Well, when I got over there, I saw the same ER doc that I've seen before for breakthrough. So he recognized me. He goes, it must be really hurting for you to be in because you've only come in on breakthrough on really crazy stuff. He goes, the last time I saw you in here was, yeah, you really did have a serious bruise that went up. We measured it and the diameter was basically about 8 inches. I mean, a kid on a bicycle knocked me into a park bench. Yeah, that was over the summer. But, yeah, so I did end up going to the hand specialist then on Wednesday morning when I should have been doing the video, but I had to go over sit at his office. And he's like, well, it's probably this, this, and this. And I'm like, dude, I know there's more done than what you're seeing. I don't think you realize that those of us if we're having to go in for breakthrough pain, something really nasty happened, but I'll see my regular pain management guys before I see him again in January. So yeah, he said, oh, I want you to stop using the hard brace and go into the soft compression brace. Well, I went down to the medical supply shop in the building. They wanted like $40 for this stupid glove. Well, I looked at it and I'm like, I'm not paying $40 out of pocket. And I went online and thank goodness I've got enough family members and friends who are in the medical end of things. And we found one friend of mine, we found the same thing online. And I was able to get, they actually are sold as a pair of gloves. And I was able to get 2 pairs for $11 delivered. Okay, yeah, so yeah, I subscribe to Amazon Prime because you gotta want to watch some TV stuff every so often. And because of that, I had like this coupon in there, so instead of paying like $20 for 2 pairs, I got them for $11. And that included delivery, so okay. And still morning time, and they said the package should be here around noon. So when I do a video on Sunday, I'll have it on. But it's so weird. It's like people don't realize I'm right-hand dominant, and if you can't use your thumb, there's a lot of stuff you have difficulty doing. I mean, I am thankful for the fact that one of my older brothers is a southpaw. So as a kid, I was learning to do things the way he did it. So I do a lot of stuff lefty. So, like, I mean, when I was doing cartwheels as a kid, they're like, you're right-handed, but you're doing all these tricks, acrobatic stuff left-handed. I go, well, yeah, because that's how my brother showed me to do it. So I can do a lot of stuff with both hands, but you kind of need your right hand for some things. And it's just, okay, can't do it right now. Let me get into some of the kind of crazy stuff that is happening here. Yeah, we know that JoJo is causing a lot of nonsense. And the big thing that's happening that's kind of dictating everything in the news all relates to stuff going on in the Eastern Mediterranean. Okay, yeah, JoJo did sign the bill. He's in California, San Fran. We know Gruesome Newsom cleaned up the city because he didn't want to be embarrassed. He's using the excuse, oh, well, when you have friends and family over, don't you clean your own house? Yeah, he did it for everybody else, but not for his own citizens of California. But JoJo signed the bill that keeps the government up and running till whatever. And, yeah, he's actually called Ping Pong a dictator. Which, if you saw the look on Blinken's face, it was like, oh my God, he was in cringe factor. And they're saying that, even though Ping Pong is a dictator, they haven't tried to do any occupation of foreign land. Well, that's a crock of BS, because if you do your homework, you're going to realize that they're encroaching and enlarging their landmass borders. And in the area they call the China Sea, they are trying to kind of take over all sorts of island nations. Not to mention here, they're basically destroying the American economy through their cheaply made goods. I mean, they shut down their one auction site called Top Hatter, and they replaced it with this thing called Temu. And of course, all these teenagers, all these under 30 things, live on the CCP app called TikTok. And they're using TikTok to brainwash the under 30 set. Yeah, so the dictator, Ping Pong dictator, is basically expanding his borders through the brains of the kids. And because the propaganda that is put out on TikTok, it's now there, all these teenagers, college kids are all over the place, are jumping on this pro-Palestine bandwagon. And they're even testifying before Congress about how they're pro-Palestine, and they're admitting their stuff to a Congressional House subcommittee. And it's just crazy. I mean, if you want to take some time, go find the Caspian report, CASPIAN report. And that guy just did a video on how it focuses on the Big Red Sea's attempt to take over the internet, World Wide Web. But there are some people here in America that are still blocking it. And even, it's so funny that what really caught my eye this morning was, the other day, a very left-wing newspaper out of the UK published this letter that was allegedly written by Osama bin Laden back in 2002. That's 21 years ago? Well, these kids that were single digits or not even born are all over TikTok believing that propaganda. And Salty Cracker did a really good commentary on it, how stupid these children are. Well, you have to go back and do your real homework. Every time something disastrous happened, there's always been a Democrat in the White House. Okay, 90 years ago, 1930s, we had FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And in irony, the house that Adolf was born in was kind of like a pilgrimage site to a lot of extremists. Well, they kept having headaches at that building. Austria is now turning that building into a local police station. Yeah. Austria has very little tolerance for bullshit. And hey, that's kind of the remnants of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Orban doesn't deal with any of this crap and has called the EU out on a ton of stuff. And same with Austria. Austria is not putting up with the shit. So to get back to it, yeah, these under 30s are believing this propaganda letter that was allegedly written by Osama bin Laden. Well, the British newspaper kind of yanked that, but it's still all over the internet. Once something's up, it's never gone. I'm sure people can find the photos of me that were written by Gabby Mastro that she made sure I had a 15 minutes of fame as a racist via her TikTok video. I was at a Back the Blue rally in 2020. Because I told some idiot kid who believed in socialism to go live in Venezuela and then tell me how she likes socialism, I was called a racist. Which is really funny because last night I had a very, very long conversation with a friend of mine who's a producer out in California. And he and I mean, we don't have the opportunity to talk a lot, but he's like, yeah, it's like my new show's going to be, we're now back in development now that the actors strike is settled and the SAG contract signed, so it's back in development. And it's funny because he and I are both raised with Southern sensibilities. And it's funny because he honestly can be described as a Creole. And having some good friends that are Creoles, that doesn't make sense for someone to make that accusation. And he knows all about the bullshit, the nonsense that happened with my big lawsuit. And he's like, I can't repeat how he referred to that woman. And basically he's the pot calling the kettle black. He's like, yeah, he goes, I heard about her. She is definitely a piece of work. But to get back, yeah, it's like I'm seeing these kids go batshit crazy. But remember, all the crap has always happened during a Democratic presidency. We had Europe go up in flames. Thank you to FDR. Then it's called the other big one. The JFK didn't follow the ideology of the demon National Party. Okay? So they got rid of him. They put LBJ in. Vietnam. Okay? Then, okay, things kind of quieted down because we had Nixon. They say Nixon was a bad guy. No, Nixon was a good guy. Things all got cleaned up. Well, after Nixon and stuff, we dealt with a couple other people. We had to deal with Ford, who was basically rewarded. We had Ford and Nelson Rockefeller, an unelected presidential pair. You see, Gerald Ford was on the Warren Commission. So for him covering up the fact how they got rid of JFK Sr., he was being rewarded by being given the U.S. presidency. And Nelson Rockefeller was actually a Democrat, and because he coughed up tons of cash, he jumped ship, became a Republican, and he was rewarded being the only non-elected part of them. Ford was never elected, and neither was Nelson Rockefeller. Yeah, I remember when Johnny Carson said he named off how many presidents and how many VPs his show lasted through. Yeah, it's a trivia game with some of us older folks. Name every president and VP of Johnny Carson's tenure. And I have a feeling some of you don't even know who Johnny Carson is. Yeah, do your homework. Do your homework, okay? But, like I said, then we ended up with Jimmy Carter. Yeah, they say he's a good guy, but he was basically a puppet put in because he was a good old Southern peanut farmer. Well, Jimmy Carter allowed the Ayatollah to take over Iran. You see, FDR had Hitler and let Hitler do his damage. Jimmy Carter and the DNC allowed the Ayatollah Khomeini to come in and do his damage. And we're still dealing with the same stuff that Khomeini created. It's kind of like, yeah, Khomeini did his thing, but then he croaked in what? I think it was 88 or 89. So then they have a few more extreme mullahs, clerics, running the show. Khomeini created his little tentacles. Hamas is one of them. And the little Hamas tentacles like Omar, Tlaib, AOC, Delia Ramirez is part of it. Yeah, she is. She's a tentacle. You've got all these new American converted citizens on the Democratic Party basically preaching that Hamas is great. They're so anti-Semitic. Don't they realize that if we allow that extremist Islam cult to take over the world, all of those women are going to be kicked out of office, made to wear burqas, and if they stand up and say anything, they're going to get basically, their bodies are going to be violated in so many ways, then buried up to their neck, and then stones tossed at their head. Yeah. These kids don't realize it. I'm lucky. I was in that area when all this stuff was happening under the Carter admin. Yes, that was Democratic control. Carter admin allowed our American embassy to be overrun by a bunch of jihadists. Yeah, they were in there for 400 and some odd days. They were not released until after Ronnie Reagan was sworn into office. Because Ronnie Reagan told them, you don't release them, we're basically going to Dresden, Tehran. And that's what I keep saying. The only way to deal with these assholes is to repeat Dresden. It's because we had Eisenhower and Patton. Patton was basically assassinated because Patton didn't play the FDR tune. And yeah, FDR didn't want Truman in. But the guys behind the scenes realized that we needed Truman. And because Truman had the guts to do what needed to be done. So I have a feeling they kind of did the George the something or other like they did to the one king. Gave him an extra good shot of morphine. So he died so he would make the front pages of the morning newspapers. I think they kind of helped FDR along also so they could get Truman in office. Yeah, within Truman, okay, Truman came in April, May, June, July, August. Within 4 months, the war was over. Because everybody knew that Truman wasn't going to mess around. Give him hell, Harry. Good guy out of Missouri who didn't take shit from anybody. Okay, yeah. I was born in Missouri. I'm a Missouri mule. Very stubborn. Don't jack with me. So after then, yeah, we get Truman took care of things. We had Johnson, who made a mess of things. So then Nixon had to come in and clean up Johnson's mess. Carter came in, made an absolute unmitigated disaster. Allowed the Ayatollah Khomeini to take over. Ronnie Reagan came in and had to clean up that frickin' mess. After Reagan, we got Clinton. Billy Boy, Billy and Hilly, unmitigated frickin' disasters. Everything got set up for more bullshit to happen. Basically, everything for when the towers went down was orchestrated via the Clinton admin. Yeah, we had the Bushes in. They weren't the greatest guys on earth. But considering what they had to work with, they were a lot better than Clinton. And then we end up with O'Bean Brain, the guy who's constantly on the down low. Where is that copy of the National Enquirer from summer of '08 with him playing tonsil hockey with a white dude? I know somebody's got to have a copy of it somewhere. Yeah. Obama created an unmitigated mess. Our healthcare system is a disaster. I mean, yeah. They want me to pay $40 out of pocket for a stupid compression glove that I can get on through Amazon for $11. Multiples for $11. I'm disabled. The nonsense I go through, all thanks to Barry Soetoro and his messed up version of American Health Service is crock. Yeah, so Donald came in and he started cleaning up Barry's mess. And the Democrats started panicking because they realized, oh shit, we're up a creek. So that's why they played around with computers. And Barry got a third term by putting in Puppet Boy, JoJo. Because, yeah, it's like Barry's team still running the show. I mean, they brought in Kakala as in the insurance policy, so nobody 25's JoJo. But just look at Blinken and all the damage he's done. So we've got to make sure, we've got to get on to our county clerks nationwide. Basically, to force our county clerks into saying no computerized counting systems for next year, for the next job interview. No computerized stuff. We got to do it all paper and have lots of people triple checking the count. Okay, so hey, this is my rant today. I'm like moving this thumb too much, so it's starting to hurt. Thank you to all the people, and yeah, I'm kind of a wreck. Really no makeup or anything on. So yeah, we got to get parents, if you've got kids under the age of 18, grab your kid's phone, go into the settings, and restore it back to factory settings, because that wipes out all their apps, photos, and phone numbers. And if you got kids under 18, go buy them the baby phone that basically you can only have it has 4 numbers. So it has emergency services, 911. You can put mom's number in there, dad's number, and 1 other phone number. That's all a kid needs. If they're under 18, that's all the phone service a kid needs. It forces them off. You don't want to see how many kids I've seen trip over their own feet on a sidewalk and their nose may be broken and they're gushing blood, but they're more upset because their $1,000 iPhone is broken, not their face. Parents, wipe those phones back to factory settings. Get the kids off of TikTok. TikTok is the communist infiltration brainwashing of America. So, okay, I'm going to go. Everybody have a great weekend. Shabbat Shalom to everybody. Go ahead and tell every Democrat to go take a flying leap. That just call them out for what they truly are and call out the kids what they are too. They're nothing but brainwashed idiots. Stop being nice. I got yelled at. I was in the store yesterday and I called out some person. I looked at her. I go, I looked at her. I saw how the way she was dressed. I go, you know, when the jihadists, should they come in, they're going to take you as a prostitute for the way you're dressed. And she's going, I'm Puerto Rican. Well, you know what, woman? Because of my travels, I called her basically somebody who sold her lower regions in Castilian Spanish. Hey, I may not be able to speak things fluently, but I know how to swear and cut somebody down pretty close to the bone. I have fun doing it. I take nothing from nobody. I'm old enough. So yeah, I'm going to go. Hopefully my package might be there by the time this uploads. Talk later. Bye-bye.